Mr. and Mrs. MEC-TEC discussed. Hi everyone, welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're back out on the drive for a bit of car content for a change. A little break from the workshop build, and I need to show you my latest purchase. This is Gizmo, named by my sister-in-law. This used to be her car, I've now bought it off of her. It is a 2003 Ford Fiesta Ghia 1.4, and I've been thinking for a while about possibly upgrading the C1, mainly for something with aircon, because I'll get very hot in this nice lovely weather we've been having. I'm not 100% decided on that yet, but this came up and I thought, well, it's got everything I need. It being the Ghia, it's got all the nice little creature comforts that the poor little old C1 hasn't got. So I thought I'd have a go at it, see how I get on with it, and obviously if I don't like it I can sell it again. If I do like it, then I'll maybe trade up to it and use this instead of the C1. So it's well, it's in pretty good nick actually. It's 20 years, over 20 years old now, and I think I found this car actually back in 2015. And she's had it since then. She bought it with 48,000 miles on the clock. It's now done 70,000, so she's only done 22,000 miles in the best part of 8 years. So it's not done many miles at all, and it is in, as I say, pretty good nick. It needs a few bits doing to it, which obviously is where I come in, as you would expect, and we may have to do a few little upgrades along the way as well. So let me grab the camera, I'll show you all around the car, and then we're going to get into the first job. Most important thing, a nice, clean and detail to make it look absolutely marvellous. Let's grab the camera and I'll show you around it. Rightio, this is Gizmo. As you can see, 52 reg, 2003 registered car. I'm not 100% sure what this colour blue is called, but it's a nice colour anyway. We've got the usual 14-inch gear alloys on there. We may have to upgrade those slightly to some slightly bigger ones, as you would expect from any of my cars. Can't leave them alone. Coming around the side, obviously you can see you've got the gear shield on the rear door, because denoting it's a gear. It's got a couple of little chips and marks here and there. It's got a little chip there which we need to touch in, another one here, just need to go over those. And there's a few little marks down the bottom of the door there which we can touch in. Need to find out the colour obviously to make sure I get the right colour for it. It's got a bit of dirt around it from where I've driven it home. My sister and brother-in-law did a pretty good job of cleaning it up for sale, but I reckon it's got a little bit more to give, so as per usual I like to go over it and do my little detailing thing. Obviously got the Fiesta gear badging on the back as well. It's had a little smart repair on this arch. That was actually done before my sister-in-law bought it originally. You could just see a little bit of sort of unusual paint, if you like, and obviously over the years it's now gone like that, so that's going to need some attention at some point, which is a bit of a shame, but it's okay. It's solid enough. I reckon it's probably just a little ding there or something, and someone's filled it and painted it and just obviously not used the best quality paint maybe. Coming around this side, it's pretty straight. Got a couple of little dings in the doors. The other side, driver's door, wants some pretty big dings doing in it. So yeah, being the gear as well, it's got the full colour bumpers. If you had an LX or a lower spec one, the bottom half of these bumpers would be textured grey. The Z-TECs and the gears got the full colour coded ones. The Z-TECs and the gears also got the lower front spotlights as well. It's got those obviously both sides. Another little job which I might do, it really gives these a facelift, is changing these side repeaters for the later clear ones, full made clear ones I think on the facelift version of this car, and obviously because they're genuine Ford they tend to last quite well and they do look a lot nicer, so I think we might be upgrading those as well. Obviously coming inside here we've got electric adjustable mirrors, electric front windows. It's got remote central locking on the key, as you can see there. We've got, coming inside, a boot pop on the dash. Your lights and fog lights are here. Wipers on this stalk as usual, and indicators and flashes on that stalk. It's got steering wheel controls behind there for the 4500 RDS CD player radio. We've also got heated front and rear screens, which is really nice in the winter because obviously heat front screen means you haven't got to scrape it. And it has got aircon. Now that's going to need gas in. It's not gassed at the moment, so we need to get that sorted out as well. Being the Ghia, it's got the velour, as Clarkson would say, nice velour seats, obviously, which are in pretty good condition. Couple of little marks, nothing really. It's got fitted genuine mats in it, which I actually got for my sister-in-law when she first bought the car, so they're still in there. I'll just show you the dash mileage. Should come up on there if I zoom in slightly. 70,182 miles. You can see on this generation of Fiesta it had a digital fuel gauge and digital temperature gauge on this side here. Obviously that's all working, there's no increments missing or anything like that, which is good. What else we got? Obviously interior light I should say, with the map reading lights on there as well. That one don't work, that one does, so I'll have to maybe get a bulb for that. Got our mirrors in our visors. This one got one? Yep, this one's got one as well. Look, see me in there. Hello. So that's all in there. What else is there? Not a lot else to speak of really. I mean, it's not mega luxurious, but it's a lot more luxurious than the old C1, as I say. It's got a remote boot pop on there. Pop that open. And you can see it's got a pretty good size boot. Probably double or triple the size of the C1. This boot liner, once again, I got for her when she first bought the car, so that's still in there, which is nice to see. Under the floor here, grab this. We've got our original spare under there, all bolted down with the original jack and everything else. See all the boot floors, all nice and original. It's got a label. On the old Capris, it used to have a label in that corner there to tell you the colour, but it hasn't got that in this. So I'll have to find that out online. It's got a little bit of a ding in the bumper there, which I'm going to try and use the old boiling water technique on that, and we'll put some boiling water over it and then push it down with something flat, and it hopefully should regain its memory and take that back down again. It has got, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this on camera. Let me see if I can do it. Hang on a sec. I want to rock the car side to side. Oh, it's the handbrake you can hear now, but it's got a slight little clonk from this shock absorber. I think it's from the shock absorbers, so we may have to put a set of rear shocks on it. Not that they don't work, but it's just a little bit of a sort of rattling noise as you go and over bumps and stuff like that. So we need to sort that out. So yeah, it's just a nice little honest sort of top of the range Fiesta really. I know it's nothing mega exciting, but I thought it was quite cool. So yeah, the first thing we're going to do is get a nice big soapy bucket of water and probably a jet wash and give this a good going over and see if we can get it looking a little bit better. I'll just show you under the bonnet quickly. Bonnet pop on these is on the passenger footwell there. As I said, this is a 1.4, so this is like the mid-range engine, because they did a 125, a 1.4 and 1.6. So if I can open this with one hand now. Yep, there we go. It's just had a new battery, as you can see there. I put a header tank on it a few years ago, so that's newish because they have a tendency to split. It's going to want a service, and it also is going to want a cam belt, because the cam belt was done at 40,000 miles, but that was 10 years ago. So it's definitely going to want a cam belt on it to make sure that nothing goes bang or twang or any other noise you can imagine that you don't want to hear when you're driving up the road. So it's pretty clean under there. A little bit of corrosion on those strut tops, but that's just sort of par for the course of the age of it really. We'll obviously give this a nice jet wash under here, make sure it's all looking top as it can be. Under the bonnet there, it's not got a sound deadener on the bonnet, which I thought was unusual. I thought the Ghias would have come with a sound deadener on the bonnet, but there we go. Got the chrome front grille on there as well, which is to denote the Ghia trim too, so that's quite nice. I actually prefer these style headlights to the later ones. The later ones had like a little bubble in the corners, and they had a different inside. I actually prefer the smoother ones. Same with the rear lights, I prefer the ones on the earlier ones as well. And Mrs. MEC-TEC did actually have one of these, exactly the same as this, but in red. Probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I guess, something like that. And it was a great little car. We drove all the way to Disneyland in Paris in it, and all sorts of things. So they are nice little reliable cars. Now up to now I've had a I've got a Mark II Fiesta, I've had umpteen Mark III's, a couple of Mark IVs and a Mark V, and now I've got a Mk6. So I've had quite a few Fiestas. I've never had a Mark I yet, and I've never had anything newer than this, so this is another one sort of off the Fiesta list, if you like. As you know, I'm a bit of a foodie. So right, let's get some stuff out here on the drive and start work on getting this looking absolutely mega. Right, I was just about to do the snow foam cannon on it, and I dropped it and broke the blooming bottle. So while that's gluing and JB welding, I thought I'd show you this. This is a gift from my good old mate Nick. As you can see, it's Auto Glim Life Shine, and in here is a whole plethora of cleaning stuff which I absolutely love. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to try out a few of these bits and bobs and see what they're like. So we've got instant tyre dressing, we've got interior shampoo, we've got vinyl and rubber care, we've got custom wheel cleaner, we've got fast glass cleaner, we've got rapid aqua wax, a liquid wax for quick application to wet vehicles straight after washing, so we may not use that one today. We've got leather balm, which obviously hasn't got leather, so we won't be using that. And we've got bodywork shampoo, so we can try out the shampoo today, we can try out the fast glass, we can try out the vinyl and rubber care, possibly a bit of the interior shampoo, not sure on that one yet. We can certainly try out the instant tyre dressing and the wheel cleaner as well. So we've got a nice few products in there, and some cloths in the back, and a sponge as well. So that is absolutely mega. So I've got to say a big thanks to my old mate Nick. He has done me a real solid there, and he's got me a lovely kit there. Yeah, look at this. So congratulations on your new car purchase. So yeah, it's all nice stuff, and especially that, I know this car hasn't got leather, but this stuff I absolutely love. I use this on all the cars that we've got with leather in, and I used to use it on the Puma all the time. It's really nice smelling, and it really does feed the leather well. It makes it really soft and supple, but without making it shiny and slippery. It just gives it a sort of semi-matte sheen, or satin sheen if you like, but without looking sort of overdone, if that makes sense. So yeah, we've got a nice few things to use here. I'm going to probably incorporate these things in with some of my regular stuff that I use as well, because I'm going to be probably using a machine polish on it, so I'll probably use some of my 3M machine polish first of all, and then obviously we'll go over it with some of these bits after, as and when we need it, sort of thing, and obviously see what they're like. If they're good, then great. If they're not, then we'll obviously use the stuff I normally use over the top of them, but I need to try them all out, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. So just thought I'd show you that while I'm waiting for this foam cannon bottle to dry. I've melted it back together with a soldering iron and put some JB weld around it, so hopefully we should be back in business in a minute. Right, I just thought I'd cut in for those of you who wonder what I'm doing. Now it's all washed and I'm making it wet again. I'm actually using this, which is called a clay mitt. And what it's got, you can get clay bars as well, which I used to use quite a lot, but all my clay bars went manking. I tried one of these out and it was a bit difficult to get used to, but now I'm used to it, I'm quite like it. And basically it's got a layer of clay on there. And you use this while the bodywork is wet, and it gets all the contaminants off of the body that you can't get off when normally washing. Now you would have seen I jet washed this, snow foamed it, hand washed it with a sponge, jet washed it again, and I still got more contaminants off the roof after. So I'm hoping you might be able to hear this. If I lower the camera down slightly to there, I don't know whether you will or not, but actually the bonnet, I should have done it on the roof, the bonnet doesn't feel too bad. The roof was really rough. But I'll just show you what I do, just so you can see the process. As I say, this has to be done wet, whether you use quick detailer or just water. I tend to just use water because it's a lot cheaper. Make the panel nice and wet. And just basically, I don't know if you can, probably can't hear that, but I'm hoping that this might make a difference. Let me see if I can get the camera in close. It's quite rough. And then if I go on to like this bit now, it feels and sounds quite smooth. If I move over, can you hear that? Gradually go to being totally smooth. You can hear the difference as well. I'm sort of feeling it. So if I move over again, you'll see, so this bit now is now nice and smooth. Trying to let you hear it as well as see it. If I go over, smooth, rough, smooth, rough. I'm hoping you can hear that on camera. That's the difference it makes. So you basically do this, as I say, while the panel's wet, gives it good lubrication. Go all over it in every different direction, as much as you want. It won't hurt the paint as long as you keep it wet. And if it gets too dry, it will just leave clay smears on the body, which then you can polish off after, so it's not a great problem anyway. But keep it wet and then obviously you won't have any issues. And this is a great pivotal sort of, what's the word, operation in getting your paintwork looking as best as it can, because obviously you can polish all this stuff off, but it will clag up your polishing pads quite badly. The most of it you can get off before you start polishing, the better, because obviously any contaminants on the paintwork will scratch it if you polish it too hard. So if you get them off first, then you've got no danger of polishing them into the paint effectively. That's coming out really nice. Tell you what, for how old this car is, it's in damn good condition. Really good. It's got a few marks around it as you'd expect, but it's not bad at all. So basically I'm going to carry on around the whole car like this. Once it's done like that, obviously do the whole panel, you can then lever it off. You can rinse it off as many times as you like and go over it again if you want to. Obviously, you'll be able to see the way the water beads off any different. But see it flowing off of there on the right hand side, and on the left hand side it's just sort of sitting there. You can see it all sheeting off this side, whereas this side it's all just sort of sitting on the surface, not going anywhere. So it does make a massive difference. So I'm going to carry on like this all around the car. Once we've got this stage complete, the car can then be levered off. I usually do it panel by panel, starting from the top down, and then I can let that all dry. Whilst I'm waiting for that to dry, maybe we'll have a look at that wheel cleaner on the wheels and see what that comes out like, because the front wheels on this do want a good going over with some sort of stuff to get the grounding brake dust off, because it is quite got quite a tight sort of corners on the holes of the wheels, so they're quite difficult to keep really clean in the corners. So we'll have a little go at that with a brush in a minute once I've done this, see what they come out like. And by the time we've done that, the body will be dry, and then we can start the polishing stage when the paintwork really comes alive. Right, I had to stop for a while because my clay mitt has reached the end of its life. It's obviously absorbed as much gunk as it can. It started leaving clay all over the car. You can see there's like a rough patch in it, and also up there as well. So just popped down to Halfords and got us a nice brand new one. So let's crack on and get this thing clay mitted so we can start polishing. Right, we've got our wheel cleaner here, as you can see. Let's see what this does. As you can see, there's a lot of ground on sort of brake dust and whatever in here, so let's read the instructions first. Apply the cleaner generously from the bottom up, fully coating the wheel surface. Use a wheel brush or sponge to agitate the cleaner. Concentrate on any dirt traps, don't forget the tyre wall. Rinse thoroughly, ensuring the product is fully removed before moving on to the next wheel. We shall do that then. See how we get on. Obviously this stuff cleans the tyres as well by the sounds of it, so this will give it a nice liberal coating of that. See what it does. Water on my brush. See, it's starting to go brown. And it's cleaning the tyre, that's quite good, isn't it? Now this brush is a little bit big for this type of wheel really, but we'll give it a go. I use this brush on Mrs. MEC-TEC's car because it goes right to the back of the wheel through the spokes, you see. I do have a smaller one for wheels like this really. I think my small detailing brushes are a bit too soft, you know. Sometimes you find with this sort of wheel cleaner stuff, you go over it a couple of times, because obviously the first go over will get a lot of the gunk off and leave you with the really stubborn stuff, which obviously then if you soak it again, then it can get to work on that a bit stronger, rather than having to get through all the light stuff on top first, you know, if that makes sense. To say, on initial going over, this wheel cleaner looks to be doing a pretty good job, to be fair. Could be a win for the Auto Glim wheel cleaner. Which is always good to know, because wheel cleaners of old used to be very good, but we used to tend to find used to strip the paint off the wheels after a while, because it was such strong stuff they used to put in it to get the brake dust off. Obviously they're not allowed to do that so much these days, so a lot of the wheel cleaners you find now are nowhere near as good. This one, initial inspection going over, must be doing a reasonable job, so it's a good start at least anyway. What I'm going to do is I'll rinse that off. make sure these are all clean all the way around. Remember this from Mrs. MEC-TEC's car, and when she had one of these years ago, and she's getting all these grooves, gradually builds up without you realising, and then we're in a world of pain trying to get it all off again, you know. Let's give that a little rinse, and we'll give it another spray up and see what it does. Let's see what it looks like first. It's got quite a bit of it off, to be fair. Got quite a bit off. What I think I'm going to do is go over that again now. Let it sit in those little crevices and corners for a little while. Now it can get to the real tough stuff. I'll go over it again. As I say, sometimes it might take a couple of goes. Right, there we go. That is that wheel all nice and clean. All the brake dust is now gone, and I've come up with a new way of doing it, which is kind of nice. I'll show you. Also, there's no tyre lacquer or anything on that at the moment. It's just the wheel being cleaned. So that is a real nice improvement. I'll just show you compared to the other side. You can see how much brake dust is in those gaps. So it does make a big difference. It sort of makes the wheel look a little bit bigger almost. But what I was actually using was, I've got two of these wooden spatulas, cut one to a point, and with the wheel cleaner I was actually using that to rub it gently over the ground in stuff, and because it's wood it doesn't scratch the wheel, but it takes off the brake dust and does a nice job and gets it all out without obviously damaging anything. So it's quite a nice little technique that, if you ever have to get off some stubborn brake dust. Maybe get yourself like a couple of old lolly sticks or something. These are actually proper spatulas that I use for fiberglass, but obviously lolly sticks will do the same thing. And it's quite a nice little way of doing it. So I'm going to get that other wheel done now, as you would have just seen there. That one needs doing, and then we can maybe move on to getting some polishing and whatever done. Let's carry on. Rightio. Now that the car is all clay barred, or clay knitted I should say, we can start on the polishing. I can't find any of this tape, there it is. So we're going to start on this front wing just because it's my favourite panel. I don't know why, but it is, always has been, to polish. I don't know why, it's a really sad thing. I'm just going to start by running a little bit of tape around this black mould in here, because obviously if you get compound on that, it's a blooming nightmare to get it back off again, if ever. Sometimes it don't ever come off and it's on there forever, gets in the grain of it and then that's it. So just spend a little minute now a bit fiddly because it's got rubber silver on the edge of it. As long as it's close. Like that will do. Stops us getting anything on that and there. So we'll start off in my normal way, which is, that's going to sound gross, I've got sweat in my eye. Right, we've got a green pad, 3M green pad in the machine polisher. We're starting off with some Fast Cut Plus, which is a bit aggressive for this really, but it has got not as much this panel, but other panels have got a few minor little scratches and imperfections, so that hopefully will take that out. Then we're going to swap over after to our blue waffle pad, and we're going to be using the 3M Finesse It polish to finish it off. That is going to give us hopefully the best possible shine we can. It is really smooth, as you can see a little, well you probably can't see it in the camera, there's a little tiny scratch there which this compound will get out. I've just washed this pad so it's nice and clean and not full of Mk. Good word that, isn't it? Mk. Right, I'll show you this one panel in live sort of terms as such, and then I'll go around the car getting it all looking as best as I possibly can. It is absolutely melting out here today, so I'm quite glad to be in the shade at the moment. When I get to the other end of the car, I'm not going to be too happy. So yeah, we just obviously keep this on a low speed with the compound because you don't want to burn through the paint. You don't want to rush it, just take your time. Obviously the more time you spend on it, the better you'll get. That scratch is gone now. Amazing. Sometimes with a lot of scratches they're only in the lacquer coat on a car like this, so if they're in the lacquer coat you need to get them out pretty easy. Obviously if they go through the lacquer then that's when you're in a bit more problem, having a bit more problem, but the other thing as well is say keep it on a low speed because obviously you don't want to burn through, but also keeping it on a low speed will make sure you get all the actual scratches out, because sometimes if you go at it full tilt, not only are you in danger of burning through, but because you're putting so much heat into the panel, it can sometimes, masking tape just rolled away, it can sometimes look like you've gotten rid of a scratch, when in fact what it's done is heated the paint up, made it disappear temporarily, and as it cools back down, the crack in the paint where the scratches will then open back out and then it'll still be there. So if you do it slowly, it actually works in your favour as far as getting rid of the scratch rather than just masking it, if that makes sense. Quite a few tar spots down there. You will find it won't take it off straight away, but when you polish it, and especially when you wax it, I find the wax really, after you've clay mitted it, softens up the tar, and then you can get it off. When you finally buff it off, it will just come off really easy once you've waxed it. There's something in the wax that softens it up. So you can do one or two things now. You can either go straight over that with the other polishing pad and the finer paste compound, the finer polish rather, or you can buff it off. I'll just show you to buff it off. Sometimes I don't bother buffing it off, I just go straight over it with the other one, but just for showing its concern. And you can see now that is getting a really nice deep shine, and that it feels like glass. It's really nice, which is the effect we were going for, so that's absolutely superb. Now what the blue waffle pad will do, in theory, how I understand it, is it takes away any of the swirl marks you may have created with that green pad. You can go a bit faster with the blue waffle pad because obviously it's a finer, it's more of a polisher, and also the pad is not as coarse. It's quite, I'll show you, this is quite sort of dense, whereas this is really sort of squidgy and soft. So you've got a bit more sort of leeway with it as far as sort of speed and not burning through the paint and stuff like that. So we'll go over this now with our finesse it. The nozzle's all blocked up. A little bit of that on the pad all over, just to sort of get it a bit damp, probably a bit too much actually, but still rub that in a bit. Just because it's the first time I've used this pad for a little while, so it's going to be a little bit dry. And then, as I say, you can up the speed on this a bit. The only thing with upping the speed is it does tend to fling it everywhere. Sometimes I find if I've really gone for it in a car, I will jet wash it again after to get rid of any residue. This is quite a time consuming process, as you can imagine, but the results at the end of it are, I think, very worth it, because if you've got an older car like this which is in good nick, you can really bring the paintwork back nice to almost new, and people will look at it and think, blimey, that's been repainted, you know, but just with a nice detail. And once you've obviously detailed it, you can go around it with a little touch-up pen, touching all the little chips and bits and bobs. A lot of that tire's come off down there now with that polish. So each stage improves it each time. There's still some bits on there. As I say, when I wax it, that'll get rid of that. Right, so that is that panel done, as you can see there. Now I'm hoping you're going to be able to see how shiny that is on camera. I'm trying to give you a comparison. Let me grab the camera and show you. Sorry, it hit stop there by accident. So you can see that's really got a lovely shine to it now. I'm just trying to show the difference between that. If you look at the Puma reflection, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's got more clarity to it, if that makes sense. Not much. I mean, it wasn't too bad to start with, but it has made a difference. You can, if I get half and half on the Puma, you can see what I mean. You can see it's actually a little bit more defined, a little bit more depth to it. So yeah, it's really good. So basically I'm going to go around the whole car like that now, getting the paintwork looking absolutely marvellous and as best as it possibly can be, and then we should be somewhere near it. Top banana. Right, I just thought I'd show you this quickly. As you can see, obviously the handle gets in the way of polishing this bit behind here, and that's where it gets all the finger marks in there from where you obviously put your hands in, people with long nails, all that sort of thing. So what we can do is there's a screw just there. Maybe you can see that on camera. If you unscrew that, but let me get you set up on a tripod, 2 seconds, and I'll show you what I mean. Right, so you can see the screw there. If you undo that screw, that will allow this lock cap with a little bit of jiggery pokery to pop out like that, and then that will allow the handle to slide towards the cap and pop out with it, which means you can get right behind everything. See, and that will do a nice job of it. Now there is a gasket on this side which you want to be careful of. Just pop that off, otherwise if you catch it with a polisher you could rip it in half. Gives you a little opportunity to clean that too. We'll get all this machine polished and everything behind here. It will look absolutely marvellous. There's no way of getting polish on the handle, which is even better. It means we haven't got to mask it up, and it just does a better job of polishing. So now that's off, I'm going to carry on. Right, we're round to the passenger side now, and I've got my youngest out here, Zoe. Hey. Say hello, Zoe.
Hi.
And she wants to have a little go at the polisher, so we're going to try and give her a little go at the polisher and see how we get on.
The thing is not moving.
Well, maybe you should stand up on it. Might be a bit easier for you. Right, put a bit of polish on there. You're going to hold it.
Okay.
Hand on there. And you put your trigger back here. You feel it?
Yeah. Should I press
Push the button there. Yeah. Just get that locked in. There you go. Right, now push it. You do it? And I'll push the trigger. You hold it.
Oh, it's fun.
There you go. All over that panel, yeah?
That.
Put it with two hands. Otherwise I'm holding it. That's it.
That's good.
Alright, over there. That's it. Up to that edge.
Don't get the light.
That's alright.
Can I have a go? Oh, myself.
Come on.
Oh,
You put it there.
ow. Keep on.
You have to push the little button down. See that little button there?
Yeah.
Push that up, down rather, and then you squeeze it in.
Down.
Yeah,
Or up.
down. Push it down and then squeeze the trigger. And that's it.
There. Oh, it's hard.
Got it?
Sorry.
So,
I just said
maybe we should put a bit more polish on there. Are you alright? Is it hurting your finger?
Look, it's got a mark on it.
Do you want me to hold the trigger, then you just control it?
Yes, please.
Okay then. You hold that.
Yeah. They licked it.
Alright then.
No.
Right then, that really light.
Oh, yeah, but who said
Yeah.
pop it on? Let's crack on.
There's a couple of little marks in the paint, that's all.
It doesn't matter. There's the light. Oh, pop it on. Let's on.
There you go. That's a bit, and then you need to get your cloth and buff it all off.
And with dirty hands.
Yeah. See? Even a 6-year-old can do it. Got to start them young, eh?
Ah.
Can roll down the hill. So basically, I'm gonna obviously go down the other side of this car now. I won't time lapse that again because you saw me do the first side. Zoe's obviously out here helping me, so that's absolutely superb. And well, she's got a bad cough and chest, so that's why she's here with me today. She was up half the night last night coughing, so there we go. She's had an easy morning and now she's out here helping me. So we're going to crack on with this. I'll come back to you once the rest of
crack on.
She loves saying that. We'll come back to you once the rest of the polishing's done. Right, in the pursuit of trying to use as many bits out of this kit as I can, I've actually jet washed the car back down again. Got rid of all the residue off of my machine polishing, and I'm going to try out this Aqua Wax. It says on there, spray straight onto a wet car, wipe with a clean microfiber until it's all covered, let it haze off and then buff it off. It reckons about 2 to 3 sprays per panel. not sure about that. I've never used it before, so we'll give it a go and see what it's like. I think the bonnet might want a bit more than 2 or 3 sprays, but still. Give it a fairly liberal coating. It's the first time I've used this, so I've no idea what it's like. I may go over it after with my conventional wax, but I just wanted to try it and see what it was like for the purposes of this video. As we're going through all the auto glym products, I thought, why not? So you're supposed to do that, and then you let it haze over, buff it off again after. I don't know whether you can use it on trim, that's anything like black trim, you know. Just turn you around here so you can see what's going on. I would assume it'd probably be alright on black trim, I don't really know. I won't go too mad over the trim, I'll just go around it. It did say don't do glass, so I'll lever that off in a minute. We've got the glass cleaner to try out as well, so I would assume this is probably more of a top-up wax than it would be a complete wax, so I may go over it after with my graphene ceramic that I usually use. It does smell nice though, give it that. Especially after you've done all that work with the machine polisher, I don't want to leave it unprotected, so I'll give this a go, see what it comes out like, let you know what I think, and then maybe after I'll go over it with the other wax that I usually use, just to give it a real nice bit of protection, because that's ceramic, the stuff I usually use. Certainly gives it a nice shine though. I haven't even buffed it yet. Right, well, I hope you'll agree with me in thinking that this has come out absolutely mega. Now, it has been quite a task, not that it was in bad condition to start with, but to get it up to this standard has taken probably a good 12 hours, I'd say, over about 3 days to get it looking as good as it does now, and it feels like glass. It is absolutely perfect as far as the paintwork, considering it's 20-year-old original paint. That is absolutely mega. Now, I did a few things off camera which obviously just to speed the process up a little bit. I've used the tyre dressing, the auto glym tyre dressing. That seems to be really good actually. That's quite a nice bit of stuff. You do have to wipe it off the wheels, it does get a bit everywhere, but other than that it is really good. I used the window fast glass cleaner. That again is really good. Didn't have a problem with that at all, not really smeary or anything like that, so that is absolutely superb. The trim dressing, I did go over all these trims and the rubbers. It works if, how can I put this, for example, this bit of trim is in pretty good condition, whereas the mirror itself was quite faded. So as you would expect, it's done a better job on that than it has on that. That is all I'll say about it, and it is a little bit messy, but it has done a good job of making the black again, so that is obviously the main thing. I did use that fast wax, as you would have seen, once the vehicle or the car was wet. I did go over it again after with my graphene ceramic wax that I use, only because I felt that the spray wax was more of like a top-up wax. So because this hadn't actually had a coat of wax after all the polishing work and everything else, I felt it needed a full coat. And obviously then you can use that spray wax whilst the car is wet when you wash it, you know, subsequent times, if that makes sense. So it's more of a top-up wax, I would say. Very good, smells lovely. So yeah, it did leave it feeling waxy and sort of nice, but I did go over it with the other stuff just to be on the double safe side. You know me, I like to do things belt and braces. So I am well chuffed with how this has come out. It is now worthy of a MEC-TEC daily use. I'll obviously have to see how it goes and go from there and decide what I'm going to do with either this one or the C1. Only time will tell on that side of things. I'll have to obviously make a decision, one or the other. So yeah, you go. That's going to obviously be in the future. We have got some other jobs to do on this as well. We've got to do a cam belt on it, as I said. We've got to do a service on it. I'd like to get some new number plates, change these for clear ones, bits and bobs like that. Maybe a new set of wheels. We'll see. Anyway, I'm waffling. If you do like what you see and you like car projects like this, then make sure you do 4 things for me. Like, subscribe, share and hit the notification bell. It's all free, it costs you nothing, and it really helps me out on the channel, so I do really appreciate it. Remember, I've got Instagram, MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook, MEC-TEC, for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to. And all that's left me to say is thank you very much for watching. And if you want to join me soon for more automotive ventures, or in the case of the workshop, carpentry capers, then make sure you tune in again next time. Cheers guys.